do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. Is there anything going on tonight on this Twisted Tuesday? Pretty slow news day today, huh? NFL trade deadline, college football playoff rankings. There's something else going on out there that's pretty big tonight. And, of course, we all know what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the college football Maction being back. Midweek Maction action going on. Let's start off quickly with the college of football. Right now, we got a 16-7 game. Bowling Green up on Central Michigan. We're on the over 48.5 of this football game. Not looking great. It was a slow start to the contest. 16-7 Bowling Green right now over the Chippewas with about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. A playing game total is 36.5 right now. Bowling Green were double-digit favorites. Now they're 9.5-point favorites in this game. Meanwhile, Miami, Ohio, and Ball State. Second half of play is rolling right now. This is a funner game. We got a 21-13 football game. Miami, Ohio are up. Ball State had an opportunity to take the lead, but they had to settle for a field goal before the half. They made it 14-13, and Miami, Ohio scored another touchdown late in the first half of play. Miami, Ohio had the football right now on their own 38-yard line. They were laying 12. The total of this one was 48. I thought the total of this one was light. This was sort of the bigger one for me. And I did take the underdog tonight as well with Ball State. So we got 12 points with Ball State. We got the over 48. And I bet an in-game total over 54 and a half. And that's exactly what it is right now at 54 and a half. But you know what? We got college basketball back. There was a plethora of games last night. Tonight, the card is much, much smaller, but we do have some action, so let's get right after it right now. So these games, they didn't play around. They tipped off right away, but all the point spreads are exactly the same pretty much. So this is the DGen specials tonight, but we're locked and loaded. We're playing these games. We laid 21 points. We actually laid 20. It was 20 and a half. It was 20, so we laid 20. It's 20 and a half right now. The San Francisco Dons against Cal Poly Slow. I think they light up Cal Poly Slow, all right? Give me the Dons minus the points. We went over the number in Cal Poly and the Dons as well. We got over 152 in this basketball game. So it's 20 and a half, 155 and a half right now. We just started as 3-3. in this basketball game. You want to talk about a degenerate special? We really stepped up on this one. We're laying 40 points with Sacramento State against California Maritime. Yeah, that's right. There's that many teams right now that play college basketball. So California Maritime are getting 40 against Sacramento State. Listen, California Maritime get lit up in their own conference, and I don't even know what the hell the conference is, but like whatever. Like they really, like they're a step up from a high school team. We also played the over of the game as well. So I figured listen, Sacramento State should drill them like, 120 to, 70 or something like that. But I tell you what, so far, California Maritime are up 7-3. So we got the over 143. We laid the points in this game. In-game total is currently 144.5. It's one of those nights tonight. If you really want to get hardcore, you've got Gonzaga woman playing a Montana woman right now. BYU are pasting Central Arkansas. And the Washington Huskies. Washington Huskies take on UC Davis. You know what? We didn't get the pick in on this one. I don't know why. I thought this game was tipping off at like 10:30. So this sort of just punched me in the face with these college games. There's so much stuff going on right now tonight. I know, listen, Washington are up 7-2. I think UC Davis are going to be able to hang with these guys. They've got a new coach. You've got a bunch of new players in Washington. The star player is back for UC Davis. They got some experience on the team. And Washington are off to a hot start right now. So it's 9-2. The number closed at 15.5. Now the Huskies are laying 17.5 right now. So just because it's 9-2, no need to panic. I like to, pull the trigger at like plus 19.5 or something like that. But let's keep our eye on this and see if Washington score a couple of more points. We'll see if we can get like 20 or something with UC Davis, and then we'll hope to hang on for dear life. But a nice start for the Washington Huskies tonight. They're up 9-2. So college football, as we alluded to, 21-13 Miami and over Ball State. Ball State just came up with a stop. They got the ball on their own 30-yard line right now, trailing 21-13. And Bowling Green and Central Michigan are going at it right now. College football playoff rankings, the first of many, came out tonight. No real major controversies. There's, people are going to say this or that about some of the teams that, some people think Indiana should be ranked higher. Some people think BYU should be ranked higher. Some people think Miami shouldn't be where they are. So there's, but whatever, dude. This is the first of many. And whoever, the college football rankings, it never ends up who's first. Like the first rankings are never the last rankings, essentially. So the Ducks are ranked number 1. The Georgia Bulldogs are 2. The Miami Hurricanes are 3. The BYU Cougars are 4 right now. If the college football playoff started today, these 4 teams would have a first-round bye in the new 12-team playoff format. The Ducks, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Hurricanes, and the BYU Cougars. The Cougars, because they would win the Big 12 if they win the Big 12. First-round playoff matchups. Now, this is the new thing. This is the pretty cool thing about it. College football playoffs, the first round, the top 4 teams get a bye. Everybody else, they're going to play the games on their home campuses. The higher seed will host the game. So if the playoffs started today, these are the playoff games that we would get. The Boise State Broncos would go to Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes in a 12-5 matchup. The Indiana Hoosiers, say what? The Indiana Hoosiers would take on the Tennessee Volunteers in the 9-8 matchup. Alabama would go to Texas. Think that ticket would cost a lot of money? Playoff game? Are you kidding me? Alabama at Texas? All this stuff is like a couple of days before Christmas, too. The Saturday, all these games are going to be on a Saturday. And Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Penn State. You want to talk about a traditional playoff battle if it happened. Traditional schools in the first ever like home campus playoff games would be unique. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Penn State. Meanwhile, the 11 and 12 right now, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Boise State Broncos, they're the last 2 in, the first 2 out as of right now. SMU are ranked 13th. You got to be in the top 12 to get in the playoffs. SMU are ranked 13th right now, but they still have more football coming up. The Texas A&M Aggies are knocking on the door right now. even though they just lost. I didn't think they were going to lose to South Carolina, but they did. So even though they lost, they're only the second team out right there. So they're 14th. You got LSU at 15, Ole Miss at 16, Iowa State 17, Pittsburgh Panthers 18, K-State 19, and Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Talking about a football team that won one game 2 years ago, and now they're sitting 20th in the college football playoffs. And listen, they keep winning football games. They can get to the Big 12 Conference Championship game. They win the Big 12 Conference Championship game. They're automatically in the college football playoffs. I almost want to see it happen just, for the spectacle of all of this. A lot of stuff to unpack tonight. We'll get caught today with the NFL trade deadline. Loud Esmond's going to step up and in. We'll talk pucks. Andrew McKinnis, Cam Stewart, Rick Saratella. A lot of football to hit. Speaking of hockey, the Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks just dropped the puck right now at the Pond in Anaheim in the OC. Give me the Vancouver Canucks minus 1.5 goals in this game, plus 100. Canucks minus 1.5. A ton of stuff to break down. Let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. Bring it.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday continues. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Big night tonight in America as Maction is back. College football. We got a fun one going on right now. 21-21, Miami, Ohio, Ball State. Ball State just cashed it and punched it in. And they're back in business. They go for two and they get it. We got a 21-21 game right now. We've got the over 48, and we got the over 54.5, and we got Ball State plus 12. Miami, Ohio are currently -5.5. The total right now in game is 59.5. There's 8 minutes left in the third quarter of play. Bowling Green are up 16-7 on Central Michigan. I don't have a side in this game. Normally I take the Chippewas plus the points. Thing is, Bowling Green have been murdering teams in the MAC. I didn't really want to get in front of them. Central Michigan looks like they're down right now by 9. So they've got problems. They're getting 12.5 in game. The total's 30.5. I bet the over the game. That's going to be a loss. So we're hoping to go 0-1 in that game and potentially 3-0 in a Miami, Ohio Ball State game. But we got a hockey game that just dropped the puck. No NBA basketball tonight. Let's bring in Andrew McInnes and Cam Stewart. McInnes, I'll start with you right now. Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks. We're only 3 minutes into the hockey game. Nobody has scored yet, and it's pretty much the same price before the game started, although the total right now is 5.5, -125 to the over. The Canucks are -230 on the money line instead of -250, and -1.5 on the puck line, +100. What are your thoughts on the Canucks and Ducks game, McInnes?
Gabe, my thoughts on this game is this. You look at a 3-2 scoreline the last time out for the Vancouver Canucks. It might not look very good. It might not sound very good to say out loud, but guess what? They got the win, and they played a hell of a lot better than the scoreboard reads. And sometimes that translates into the next one. So I think this is going to be a good game for the Canucks, but I also think the Ducks are going to get some as well. Give me the over in this game in particular. I feel like the goals they should have scored in the last game for the Canucks against the Sharks are going to translate over into this one. What better road trip to get a team back on track? I'm looking at the Avalanche, looking at a couple of these other teams, than playing the Ducks and the Sharks back-to-back games. Usually a good confidence booster. And speaking of those Sharks, I'm finally not going against them, guys. Finally not going against them tonight. We got them tonight. First period, full game.
All right, we'll get to the Shark game a little bit later on. We got a couple of minutes for that one. Total's 5.5 right now, McInnes, if you're liking the over here. So you're getting a little bit of value on the total just after 4 minutes of the game. Cam, what's your pick for the Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks?
I agree. The over 5.5 live looks good, Gabe. Pre-game, I'm on Vancouver in a parlay. And I like Vancouver in regulation right now, -158 on my book. On the three-way line, I think they'll win in regulation. This is a game for them, and I think they can take down Anaheim on the road. It's a little bit juicy, but you know what? I like the Canucks. I don't even want to deal with overtime. So give me Vancouver live and over 5.5, please.
I played the Vancouver Canucks -1.5, +100. I'm thinking they win this game like 4-2 or something like that. If they're going to win, I think they can win by more than 1.5. In this spot. They're a better road team than they are home team. Like McInnes said, this is a good spot for them here right now. And like McInnes was very eager to talk about the San Jose Sharks, and it's pretty clear that the San Jose Sharks play every Tuesday night because it's every Tuesday night. Here we are. We talk about the Sharks again. They seem to host games on Tuesday nights at the Tank. And speaking of the Tank, scalpers are really tanking tonight. You got the Columbus Blue Jackets against the San Jose Sharks. Dear God. All right, let's look this up. How much do you think the tickets are to get into this game?
Yeah, I'm going to think nosebleeds, we can do like $12, and I'm thinking they might throw a bottle of vodka in there too. Yeah,
I'm going to think someone's paying them to go to the game. I don't even think people are paying. Someone's paying them to go sit down.
Come on, Morency. I think we can get there for $15.
All right, Cam says $12. McInnes, what's your lowest? What do you say it costs to get into this game tonight?
What are you using to research this? Yeah. I have to know.
Well,
I have to know.
We're going to use StubHub. As you know, there's ticket. There's live sites right now selling tickets.
I'm going to play Price is Right. $1. I'm going to play lower. Give me $8. $8.
Wow, $8.
Wow, McInnes
no, it's not a baseball game. Not a baseball game. I got it.
I was going to say $5, but I was disrespectful to the Sharks.
What is it?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it's this low. It's $5.
I'm at an NHL hockey game for $5. I'm sorry.
I'm not kidding. And to put in context, guys, StubHub keeps $3 minimum. Like that's their policy. Like they don't do a transaction. So whoever just sold this ticket made $2 minus a couple of service charges. They literally just made like 48 cents to sell their Shark ticket.
A cup of coffee.
I should note it's in the upper deck behind the net. It's like, you're in the upper deck behind the net. $5. If you want to sit right behind the net, You want to sit right behind the net. This guy wants $130, and dude, you ain't going to get it. They're dropping the puck in 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah, good luck, bro. How about 20?
I'll give him 13. I'll tell him take a zero off. I'll give you 15 bucks for this seat behind the net. If it's $5 for the upper deck, it should be like 15 for the lower bowl.
Oh, that is amazing. $2 after service fees.
You know what that reminds me of? I think that a lot of people that are like new to hockey, and I'm not trying to like disrespect anybody. I don't know what kind of tickets you guys like to buy, but in my opinion, it's like a overrated thing to be on the glass. Like you want to be like 8 or 9 rows up, somewhat center ice or second to the left or to the right. You know, a lot of people that like have money that get into hockey, they're like, I want to be on the glass. You can't see the whole ice.
When I go down to when Visine Vince takes me to the Leaf game, we're one level up from the more expensive section on the like overlooking, and it's like $50, $60 cheaper, and we're like at the top of their section. We're the best for the greens, right? Like they greens suck. No, they don't. If you get the right angle, they're amazing tickets. You see everything on the angle. It's perfect. It's a wicked ticket.
Don't want to be a glass banger. We're too old to be glass bangers here. Come on, we don't need to be on the glass. You don't want to be one of those guys.
Well, the problem with banging the glass is too hard.
Yeah,
the glass, you're going to hurt your hand. Like, you start banging. Yeah. I sat in the front row at a Canuck game once, like a couple of years ago. And it was okay, but you're right. There's a lot of angles that kind of suck. And I didn't have any action in front of me. Like, I had, I was hoping for like a fight or something, like sort of right in front of me. There was one body check once. Like, other than that, they just flew past all the time.
Fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from 3. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from 3 for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Our boy Loud Edsman will join us from Seattle a little bit later on. Rick Saratella from the Jersey Shore. A lot of football stuff to get to. We'll get you caught up to date with the NFL trade deadline today. There were a ton of deals. I think the Lattimore deal was the most impactful one. Listen, Zadarius Smith helps the Lions. The Lions are already great, but it helps the Lions. But the Commanders bringing in a 4-time Pro Bowler like that defensive back. The Commanders had the 21st ranked pass defense in the NFL. this year. They're a 7-2 team. That's sort of their weakness. And in the last 2 years in the NFL, only the Tennessee Titans have less interceptions from their secondary than the Washington Commanders. So a big move for the Washington Commanders today. All right, so speaking of big moves, 21-21, Miami, Ohio, and Ball State right now. Bowling Green up 16-7 still. This game is just sort of spinning its wheels with 8 minutes left in the contest. But McInnes brought up the San Jose Shark game. And it should be noted, actually, that the Anaheim Ducks strike first. The Ducks are up 1-0 on the Vancouver Canucks. Now we're getting a little bit of value, actually. I hate chasing because I'm already on the Canucks minus a $1.50. But, dude, the Canucks to win the game now is minus 120. I think I'm going to jump in on that right now. I don't know how you feel about that, Cam and McInnes. Andrew, what do you think? Canucks minus 120. I'm not scared that they're down 1 goal.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It gives you better opportunity. What I was just about to say, I was hoping you would throw it to me for this game and not go right to the other game, because over a half a goal in the first period for the Canucks, minus 120. I'm going to jump on that. I feel like they're going to get back. I think they're going to score in this first period, tie things up. I think the first period does go over, but I think it's because the Canucks tie things up in this one. So if you're already invested full game in the Canucks, hey, why not look for them to get one back in this period?
All right, so let's get to the Columbus Blue Jackets and the San Jose Sharks. Cam, what's your pick for the Jackets and Shark game?
Well, you know, McInnes is a friend of the program, but I'm on CBJ here tonight. SJ Sharkey's been good to me lately, covering puck lines, but I think this is a get-right spot for Columbus. They haven't played their best hockey, Morency, but I think they're a better team than the Sharks, so I'll lay the 25-30 cents with Columbus tonight. Ugly, gross game, but I like Columbus to get it done on the road. But I can understand McInnes taking the Sharks. They have been playing better recently.
McInnes, your case for the San Jose Sharks tonight?
Well, I'm not going to make a strong one. It's going to win the jury's the jury. I'm not going to win you over too much.
Why are you taking the Panthers? I don't know. I am.
I'm not feeling a lot of confidence in your play already. I just got to say, but all right, go on.
So, okay, first of all, whenever I see two teams like this, that are this garbage going head to head, I don't want the favorite. You know, that's the first thing I'll say. Secondly, they're finally healthy. Sal Brainey gets back. Will Smith got his first goal. Then he got his second goal in the exact same game. They're gaining confidence as a young team. Toffoli's being a leader. Some of these guys that nobody even knows who the hell they are, they're realizing this is a chance for me to make a name for myself. Because if I'm on the second line on the Sharks, I'd probably be on the fifth line on any good team in the whole entire league. And this Columbus Blue Jackets team, a lot of times...
You'd be in the AHL.
Yeah, well, fifth line is the AHL. A lot of the thing is when you look at a team that just got their ass kicked the way the Blue Jackets did, people a lot of times expect them to bounce back, right? A team that's motivated off a tough loss. I think a team like the Blue Jackets are going to move in waves. They're going to have a decent few games and a horrible few games. So that ass kicking to me is just a sign of what's to come over the next few games for them. So I've locked in.
Too? I think the Blue Jackets are a great home team. Like, they beat Edmonton 6-2. They murdered the Leafs. Like, I don't know what it is at home with these guys, but you might be onto something. Their home-road dichotomies are noticeable. Like, they play really good with the cannon at home, but then they go on the road and they suck. So
I think they're driven a little bit by the loss of Gaudreau a little bit, too, at home. I'm going to play Celebrini tonight. Over under 0.5 points. All he's got to do is get a point, whatever. He's only played in one game, and he got a goal and an assist in the game that he played. So now he's back tonight, and I think that's the way to look. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get on the score sheet, McInnes, tonight. Any prop for you?
You know, I'm going to just keep riding the hot hand with Toffoli over on his shots on goal. That's what's really making me money. You can take over 2.5. You can take plus money at 3.5. He kind of has the green light, you know. It kind of, look at when Kyle Kuzma got traded to the Washington Wizards. I'm not saying he's a Kuzma comparison, but how many shots was that guy taking every game? He felt like he was the man.
You're saying there's nobody else to shoot the puck, so they tell him, don't be shy to shoot the puck.
Yes. I mean, there's nobody else out there, right? He's got the green light. He's surrounded by young kids. He's the man right now.
I hit a Noah Dobson over 2.5 shots on goal tonight.
fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump, his release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. The Twisted Tuesday continues. Let's roll 21-21 going into the fourth quarter right now in Muncie. Ball State getting 12 on their home field right now. The in-game total is 56.5. The spread is 5.5. We got a hockey game that's getting ready to drop the puck right now. The Ducks are still up 1-0 on the Canucks. We're all over the place on this game. Cam's on the Columbus Blue Jackets. McKinnis is on the San Jose Sharks. And I just have Macklin Celebrini to record a point in this game at minus 130. Hey, McKinnis, you ever bet the AHL or East Coast Hockey League or anything like that? We have the Bakersfield Condors and the Wranglers. Oh, the Coachella Firebirds. These guys rarely lose. They're a good team. They're losing right now to the Colorado Eagles 3-0. Last night I didn't get to it. We had some really good names last night in the East Coast Hockey League game. But Colorado Eagles up 3-0 on the Firebirds. Coachella Valley, these guys have made it to the finals a couple of years, the last 2 years. You ever bet AHL hockey, McKinnis, or only later in the season?
Yeah, I only bet it. I usually only bet it like after Christmas. But one thing I like looking at, if you're gonna bet, like in the NHL, for example, a lot of times I have a habit of let's say I bet on, let's throw like the Leafs tonight, right? I won't look to bet on them in 2 days again. For some reason, inherently, I'm like, okay, I made money on them. In the AHL, for people looking to bet it, you kind of want to isolate a few teams. Be like, all right, this weekend they're gonna play this team 3 straight times. This team's playing that, because you can kind of look at, and the thing is, there's a big drop off from goalie 1 to goalie 2, and looking at road trips and how busy they are. So that's the thing. It's kind of like betting AAA baseball. You look at this guy that got called up, their best hitter got called up to the major leagues. All of a sudden, this team isn't as good anymore. In the NHL, it happens. But the thing is, guys, injuries pile up in the new year, right? In the springtime, call-ups happen, right? When the Habs are in last place for the millionth year again, all their top guys are going to get called up again, and it's going to hurt Laval. But right now, Laval's off to a great start. So
they sure are.
I appreciate you asking me, but I'm going to hopefully have some plays for you in the spring, Gabe, in the new year.
Gabe, look at the separation, too, between the teams. Like Laval's 8-1, and then Milwaukee's 8-1, and then you have teams kind of middling. Calgary, 9-1. Oh, my God, the Utica Comets or the San Jose Sharks of the AHL, 0-8. Man, they're bad. Utica Comets, they stink. But, yeah, like, look at these teams at the top. They're very, 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 very good. Like, and then they kind of, like, go 500 after that. So, yeah, Laval's playing well.
There'll always be dominant teams in minor leagues. But, and another thing is, too, when you're betting on this stuff, it's like betting AAA baseball. If you're actually a hardcore person and know stuff, right, you can know, if you know the team, like the in or outs of, like, if you're a hardcore Canucks fan, a lot of hardcore Canuck fans, these guys, man, they're nut jobs. They have podcasts about, like, the Abbotsford Canucks. what's going on in Abbotsford. And so, like, because who's going to be the next one called up? And like McKinnon said, you get call-ups. There's a lot of up and down, but you get these dominant teams. I'll bet it. Like, I'll bet it throughout the season. So, we keep our eye on it. I haven't really started to pull the trigger yet. But so college basketball, we gave everybody like 3 or 4 plays before the show started. As we started, we took the San Francisco Dons minus 20 points against Cal Poly Slow. We also went over 153. Man, San Francisco were just up by 10, but Cal Poly Slow just went on a little 5-point run. The Dons are only up 31-26 right now. They're currently laying 20.5. In-game total is 161.5. We told you, all right, UC Davis, I like them plus 15.5. We just got in on them at plus 18.5 instead of the 15.5, and now they're down by 4, and it just moved to 14.5. So Washington Huskies up by 4 right now on UC Davis. And here's our degenerate play of the night, guys. You're going to like this one, Cam. I laid 40 points with Sacramento State against California Maritime.
Maritime, the keel haulers?
Yeah, I don't know if they're a boating. I don't know if they're a boating school or what the hell these guys are. But like, I don't know. I'm like, you guys are going to get killed. That's what I do know.
They are.
And
the line
it's 41-8. 54.5. It's 54.5 now.
Wow, on my book it's 50.5. So you're getting even a bigger number. I'm on UC Davis as well, Morency. Getting I took the half point to plus 16. I like the Aggies tonight against Washington.
The only problem is I also have over 140, 143 though with Sacramento State and Cal Maritime, and I ain't gonna get there if Maritime can't score. They got 8 freaking points. So, yeah, it's 41-8 with 3.5 minutes left in the first half. McKinnis, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out the live under Central Arkansas BYU under 147.5. I tailed fellow SportsGrid contributor Jeff Dawson on first half minus 18.5 in this one. And you've seen it just absolutely go crazy. They steadily got that first half winner for us. And now the live number is minus 39.5. One thing I've been doing, guys, whenever I see numbers like this, they've gotten their goal. They've covered the spread easily. This game is fizzling out. Bench players getting in there. This game's going to die. Give me the under in that game.
Interesting take. I'll tell you what. Yeah, there's 7.5 left. The total just moved. You moved it. It just moved to 146.5. So it came down. But so basically it's 30 points, right? Or they're going to get 30 more points in 7 minutes. And Central Arkansas are clearly not scoring. They're stuck at 41. So they probably get to 50, let's say 52 or something. And good call by McKinnis. They're BYU are going to take the pedal off the metal and put the bench in at some point here. So I don't have a problem with it. Good eye, McKinnis. Sacramento State laying 54.5. The total is 135.5 right now in that game. Arizona State's up 45-42 on Idaho State. We're going to get to that. Arizona State are 7.5 point favorites in game right now.
The Idaho State Bengals are giving the Sun Devils all they can handle right now, Gabe. Like they're hanging around tight.
Miami, Ohio, second and goal on the Ball State 8-yard line right now. And we got a 21-21 game here. So we got a fun one going on. Maction is back. No NBA basketball tonight due to the election. The NHL doesn't care about elections. They're like, no, we're going to play a bunch of games tonight. The least political league of them all, the NHL. And speaking of elections, I just got paid for my first hit. North Carolina, Trump. I bet North Carolina. I got 6 states in action tonight. And I got North Carolina, Trump. I just got paid for it. I looked at my account. I'm like, oh, what did I get paid for? And I'm like, oh, that's a nice little return. I'm like, oh, yeah, I bet North Carolina. Tar Heel State. So I got bet North Carolina, Trump. I bet Georgia, Trump this morning at like minus 225. Not great odds, but I figured, yeah, he's going to win, Georgia. But I've got Harris and a lot of the swing ones, all at like plus 110 and stuff, like plus 120, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Wisconsin. And so all that's going on, but we'll focus on sports. But I just wanted to get people caught up to date with my own personal win. So 23-7 right now for Bowling Green over Central Michigan. All right, so it was a wild day today in the NFL. On the other side, we'll get into some NFL picks. McKinnis's Packers cost me money this past weekend. Very disappointing performance, yet I think a lesson was learned, guys, as far as the Packers. I think highly of the Packers, and I said before the year, even I was like, you know what, I think Detroit or Green Bay are actually like going to go to the Super Bowl. Yet Detroit are further ahead than Green Bay are in this. They're just a deeper team all around. Like Green Bay are still, you know what I mean? Green Bay are good, but they're still young and raw a bit, and they're still going to have some growing pains. The Lions have really, they've already had their growing pains. So I just sort of think, we saw the separation there. And then today the Detroit Lions bring in Zadarius Smith to help their defensive line after losing Aiden Hutchinson for the year. And you can make the argument that the second best team right now in the NFC are the Washington Commanders. And the Commanders, a 7-2 football team, bring in Marshawn Lattimore, a 4-time Pro Bowler from the New Orleans Saints. And what I think was actually the most impactful and biggest deal of the day today. Jerry Jones is getting weird in Dallas again. Or is he? Or is he crazy like a fox?
Fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42.3%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, a couple of minutes ago, the Vancouver Canucks were down 1-0, and my exact words were, I'm not scared because they're down 1-0. I think it's good value to grab them at minus 120 right now. And, man, if they responded, they've scored 2 quick goals. And the Canucks guys are now suddenly minus 450 on the money line. Minus 450 in that hockey game. The total is 7.5 right now. The Avs are up 4-2 on the Kraken late in the second period of play, and we've started at the Shark Tank. Scoreless game with the Jackets and Sharks just a couple of minutes in. Quick basketball check. ASU up on the Idaho State Bengals, 47-44 right now with under 4 minutes remaining. They're 5.5-point favorites. 109.5 is the total. San Francisco, I'll give credit to Cal Poly slow. They're hanging around tonight. It's 37-31 for the Dons. The Dons are now laying 18.5. The total is 164.5. UC Davis continue to hang as well with Washington, 31-26 right now. with under 5 minutes remaining. And McKinnis said the game would slow down and said, let's go under to 147.5. It's 84-44 right now for BYU over Central Arkansas. So we're at there's 15 points here with 3.5 minutes left, McKinnis. I think it should. It's going to be close, but I think it'll hit. Sacramento State are now up 53-13 on California Maritime. What are they? The key herders, the sheep herders, or something?
The keel haulers.
The keel haul. What the hell is that?
Keel hauler. I think it has something to do with keel hauler, canoe club. Yeah, it's
moving. It's like a U-Haul.
Yeah, keel haulers. Yeah, it sounds like maybe an anchor. I don't know. What the hell are these guys?
What is a keel hauler?
Keel's kind of like is it some kind of like aquatic, like a specimen, like a fish? Like
yeah, you know what? I said, they're maritime. I said, what are they? Some sort of? What are they? Some sort of sailing school or something? Yeah. How about this? Keel hauling was a form of punishment of torture used in Dutch in Europe to punish sailors who broke the ship's code of conduct.
Wow.
Pretty hardcore. Yeah, what is a keel hauler? To haul under the keel of a ship by ropes attached to the yards. I got to tell you, in an era in which we ban soft names, I'm surprised. They're like, what's your team name mean? It means we torture you under a ship. What the hell is going on here?
Well, McKinnis knows. He lives in the East Coast, Gabe. The keel, the rudder, it's the part of the ship that guides, the keel hauler guides the ship, right? So, but yeah, I like that. The Dutch weapon torture. Would you say that again? What was it? It was a method of torture.
Keel hauling was a form of corporal punishment. It was formerly used in practice as a punishment in the Dutch and English navies. They haul you under the keel of a ship by ropes attached to the yard arms on each side. Doesn't sound like very much fun.
To remind people that the Washington football team once existed.
The practice was abolished at 15-3. Listen, I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I am that guy. I'm soft. Like if I was the NCAA, I'd say, listen, like we looked up what your name means, and we got a problem with this. We can't. We're like we can't. You guys, your name means. I remember they changed the name Crusaders. Remember, and even that, like no one thought they were like, yeah, because the people got killed on Crusades and stuff. So we're going to change the name from the Crusaders. It's like, they've gone like especially in college, they cancel a lot of names. This one is like, this one's over the top. Great name, terrible team. 53-13, Sacramento State right now. So the in-game, get this, guys, the point spread right now. And I laid 40 points, and I figured, you know what? They're going to murder these guys. I laid 40 points, guys. The in-game number right now is 60.5. Sacramento State minus 60.5, Cam. It's a lot of points. We lost Cam's audio.
Oh, he's muted. Muted.
Andrew McKinnis is with us 2-1 for the Vancouver Canucks. So, yeah, McKinnis, let's get back to the football. So your Packers blew it last week against the Lions. A little bit disappointing. I think it was one of those games, like I said, it just sort of exposed the level of class, so to speak, in that division. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Gabe, I'm disappointed in myself because I didn't bet against them, but I came on your show and said I didn't like them. And if I ever don't like the Packers, it pretty much means I bet against them. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to bet against your own team, but I got to be better than that. I got to be better. I got to look in the mirror and reflect. If I said to you guys I didn't like them, then I probably should bet against them. But, Gabe, this is the thing, though. It all comes down to what they're going to do at the end of the season. It all comes down to what Detroit's going to do. Nobody cares about a pregame speech. Nobody cares about the points you're going to put up in week 8, 9, 10. I'm now about this Lions team at the end of the season. I don't know about you guys, but the fairy tale and the hype up story and the motivational coach, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but I want to see it. I want to see what they can do when it's the real deal. That's what I'm curious about now. Forget about these regular season games everyone's all fired up about. I want to see what they can do when it matters now.
They did make it to the conference championship game last year. Right? So, like, they have shown, this is the thing. It's not like the Lions haven't shown an ability to win playoff games. They have. Right now, they have to take the next step. They have a quarterback that's made it to a Super Bowl before. But that's the $64 million question in the air, right? They've never been to a Super Bowl before in franchise history. Ultimately, I think the best football story ever, and it would almost be a shame that one would have to lose, but if it was the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl, two fan bases that have been through ultimate misery over the years, that would be a fun Super Bowl. Like, I think out of all the Super Bowl matchups, the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions are the coolest one, actually, from a sentimental standpoint. And for the record, they actually play each other. I don't know, like 3-4 weeks from now, they play each other this year, which could be a clear Super Bowl preview. But the Kansas City Chiefs obviously have something to say about that. All right, on the other side, for the record, Miami, Ohio kicked a field goal, 24-21 right now, over Ball State. 10 minutes left in the game, 23-13 for Bowling Green. On the other side, we'll hit the CFL playoffs. We'll get McKinnis's picks, semifinal action.
Fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the Pittsburgh players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between, including Andrew McKinnis. Rick Saratella is going to step up and in. We'll get his thoughts. He's a scout with the Edmonton Elks. We'll get his thoughts on the CFL playoffs. McKinnis with us. We talked about the playoffs last week, and we told you because the Argos would bring it in this game, and their offense hung 58 on the Ottawa Red Blacks. The question is, oftentimes you see teams put up that many points and explode for that many points. The next game, they get shut down, right? It's inevitable. It's like the football gods, come after you for hanging 58 on the other team. There's been movement here, actually. It went from 2 to 1.5. The Montreal Alouettes right now, so it's a near pick 'em. The total is 52. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are 4-point favorites over the Rough Riders. The total is 48. What are your thoughts? Who do you like this weekend in the CFL playoffs?
Gabe, if any of you guys know somebody that lives in Ottawa, tell him to drive to Bob Dice's house, the head coach of the Red Blacks, and tell him that he's not going to beat the Argos by kicking field goals. Because I'm getting sick and tired of these coaches settling for field goals. The other team gets the ball on the 40-yard line.
You can just tweet it. You don't have to go to his house. That's harassment.
I want him to go to Dice's house and tell him
you're going to get punched in the face. All right, well, go on.
He's tough. I wouldn't mess with him.
These guys, man, going for field. They're going to beat the Argos with field goals, man. It's ridiculous. Beat the Argos. But look, you segued it perfectly for me, Gabe, and I'm on the Montreal Alouettes here. You know, I'm just riding the money line. No -1.5, no 2 or 2.5. This is the money line for me. And, you know, the biggest way to look at it is you got a team that just put up 58. You got a quarterback that just had a 4.0 TD to INT ratio, 18 of 20, 358 yards. Life is good. Nothing could go wrong. And people are sleeping on the Montreal Alouettes defense. A lot of times you look at this scenario and you've got a team like Montreal that in their case, you know, to look at the little bit of a case for the Argos, Montreal hasn't really played a meaningful football game since I was able to wear shorts outside here on the east coast of Canada, okay? Now I'm freezing my ass off. This is a team right now that's been playing football that doesn't really matter, but I feel like they're going to be focused. They're as healthy as can be. Besides Tyson Philpott, who's on the injury reserve, every single guy is healthy on this team. I do give a home field edge to this team. In fact, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Montreal are the 3 teams that I think home field matters the most in the CFL. Give me Montreal to win this one outright.
Montreal can get loud if they're into it, and they're going to be into it in this game for sure. They don't like Toronto. That Toronto-Montreal rivalry. I saw an interview with Darnell Sankey today of the Alouettes, and they said, there's a lot of bad blood between you and the Toronto Argonauts. How do you feel about the Argos? I like his answer. He goes, I don't like anybody in this league.
Exactly.
He goes, I don't like anybody. He goes, and they're just another team that I don't like. And he basically was pretty cocky. He goes, they're just another team that we're going to knock down and get knocked out of the way. So I saw another Alouette. I didn't catch who it was. He goes, there'll be a lot of trash talk. I'll tell you that, like on the field. So I'm looking forward to this football game. And then you get the Bombers, McInnes. We got a couple of minutes. What's your pick for there? I'm personally surprised the point spread's not a little higher, considering how dominant the Bombers have been.
Yeah, you know, we've seen these teams play some different type of football games. We've seen them play in a shootout where both teams reach the mid-30s. We've seen a low-scoring game where they were in the late teens. So we've seen a little bit of everything between these clubs. Right now I'm holding a ticket in pocket 11-1 on the Riders. So I'm going to stay off the side, although I do kind of lean towards the Bombers here in this one. I'm actually going to go towards the over. The more I stared at this since the opening numbers were out there, I kind of made cases for both sides. And I said, you know what? The good thing about this Bombers team this year hasn't just been their defense. If you look at when they stopped being Losepeg and they started being Winnipeg, got that one from Jeff Dawson as well, they started scoring points. It wasn't just their defense.
That's like an old dad joke.
This is a team.
Oh my God.
This is a team that knows how to play. This is a team that's putting up points right now, guys. Forget about their defense. Their defense is not winning them games anymore. They're a team that's winning by scoring points, and I don't trust Saskatchewan's defense as well. This season, they had one of the worst second-half defensive numbers in the whole league. They're a bend-don't-break team, and the second the game opens up, they start giving up points. I think the over 47.5 Bombers-Riders going to be a good game.
Andrew McInnes, wagertalk.com. Great stuff, McInnes. Enjoy the CFL playoffs this weekend. I'll be at the Grey Cup, actually, in 2 weeks, no matter who ends up playing in it. But I think it's going to end up, I personally think it'll be Winnipeg and Montreal, so we'll have a rematch. Either way, it's a rematch of the last 2 years. Winnipeg lost 2 years ago to Toronto, and they lost last year to Montreal. Rick Saratella, next. Bring it.
fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump, his release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, the Rick Saratellas, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. We've got a lot of stuff to unpack. It's been a wild 48 to 72 hours in the National Football League. The Chiefs stay undefeated last night. The Cowboys are in full meltdown mode. Dennis Allen is fired in the Bayou. And, oh, yeah, the NFL trade deadline went down. There's a couple other things that are going on today, too. So like I said, it's been a wild 48 to 72 hours. But let's start off with the Dallas Cowboys with our main man, Rick Saratella, founder of AllAccessFootball.com, the NFL Draft Bible, a scout with the Edmonton Elks. We'll get a CFL playoff predictions in a couple of minutes. But, Rick, let's start off in Dallas. It's just been a complete disaster for them this year. We kind of expected it coming into the year, to be honest. So it's all coming to fruition right now. Now Dak Prescott is hurt and is out, and the Cowboys surprised people by trading for a wide receiver in Jonathan Mingo, former second-round pick, yet they gave up a fourth-round pick. Now they're getting the Panthers' seventh-round pick back, but they essentially just gave up a fourth-round pick. And a team that you figure would say, all right, this isn't our year, let's stockpile some draft picks. Some people think it's crazy and ridiculously a stupid move by the Dallas Cowboys, but let me ask you as a draft guru, I would counter that their thinking is that Mingo is better than a wide receiver that we would get in the fourth round. Do you agree or disagree with this? What do you think of trading that type of draft capital for Mingo?
Well, I think it's a valid question, Gabe. When you get to day 3 of the NFL draft, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Jonathan Mingo, a former second-round pick who I thought was a little bit raw coming out of college, but I liked his get-off the line of scrimmage. I thought his route running, while it needed some enhancement, I thought he was able to create some separation. And I think it was at the East-West Shrine game. I actually enjoyed watching him throughout the course of the week, and I think this is not just a move for this season, but a move for the future in terms of having an additional potential wide receiver to create depth, something the Cowboys are lacking at the wide receiver position. And I do think, listen, for all the Jerry Jones dispute of what the media is saying in terms of it was a poor offseason, they didn't address their needs, maybe they misjudged some of these contracts, I think Jerry Jones might be feeling a little pressure here to kind of prove the naysayers wrong, so to speak. Jerry Jones is never going to quit on a season, and he's not going to quit halfway through the season. Now, Dak Prescott's going to miss some time, but remember, Cooper Rush won a lot of ball games. I think it was 4-0, 5-2 last time this incident occurred, so maybe Cooper Rush is the spark the Cowboys need, as funny as that sounds.
And, of course, there's a debate there. Some people are saying, well, the season is done, and I get it. We're still, we're not, you know, I mean, November just started, so I understand that it isn't. But some people are saying they should play Trey Lance. But that's another story. It's always interesting, though, and it's a good point, because it sounds, you gave him a fourth-round draft pick, but like you said, yeah, whatever, dude, it's the third day of the draft, right? And it's you're getting into hit-or-miss territory. And one thing the Cowboys have been good at is drafting. I think they're pretty good, like, at evaluating talent, actually, and judging players. I don't think they're good at handling free agents, and they let their linemen go, etc. Like Jerry, thinks, the logo is bigger than the player sometimes. I get it, but there are some plus sides to it. So let's talk about another team in this division where everything is going their way, unlike the Dallas Cowboys. And I think, listen, we'll get to Zadarius Smith to the Lions, but to me, Lattimore to the Washington Commanders is probably the most impactful deal when you consider we're talking about a 7-2 football team, Rick, with the Washington Commanders, who were ranked 21st against the pass in the National Football League. In the last 2 years, guys, in the NFL, only the Tennessee Titans have less interceptions than the Washington Commanders do. To me, the only downside with Lattimore is he has often been injured, Rick, but it's all about, are you a better team after a deal? And what do you think about the Lattimore deal to Washington?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I turned on the game the other night. Cam Curl was making all these plays for the L.A. Rams. He came over from the Commanders. So now, that is a loss, a void that the Commanders are filling because all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, they're in contention with this Jaden Daniels. Unbelievable. And you, my friend Gabriel Morency, were all over Jaden Daniels, right? It's easy to say hindsight is 20/20, but Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, you look back at it now, I mean, it's not even a question, right? But Jaden Daniels has this team contending. I think after the Detroit Lions, I have the Commanders ahead of the San Francisco 49ers. I don't care Christian McCaffrey's been activated. I don't care if he's healthy. I think the Commanders are contenders. I think they're the real deal. I think Dan Quinn is a hell of a head coach, okay? And I think this team is a force to be reckoned with. Don't sleep on the Commanders. After the Detroit Lions, I think the Commanders are the team to beat.
Yeah, you know what? You can't say either that some people think, they're too young. They're not young. Jaden Daniels is young, but they're not really all that young. Austin Eckler's been in the league. Hell, Robinson's been in the league. The guy got shot in the ass, and he was back on the field a couple of weeks later, right? He's been around. McLaurin's been around. Dan Quinn's been to Super Bowls. He's been around. So it's kind of a nice mix, and also it's a challenge. I do think that Jaden Daniels, I think Cliff Kingsbury deserves a ton of credit for it, for just pushing the right buttons, right? Like it's sort of a package deal with them, but it really has worked out. So speaking of the Detroit Lions, man, what a big win for them against the Green Bay Packers. And Dan Campbell said after the game, he goes, I hope this silenced some of our critics out there that said that we couldn't play outdoors in bad weather. And he said, we're a tough football team. We can play in any weather. And I was one of those people. I brought it up, and I'm not saying they can't, but Jared Goff over the years and the Lions over the years haven't been a great cold weather team. He hasn't been a great cold or bad weather quarterback. He's been better as of late, but they go into Green Bay in bad weather, at least early season bad weather. And they are a physical-ass football team, the Detroit Lions. Like, they look like it's Super Bowl or bust right now. They're the best team in the NFC.
This is a complete team. They are built to go far. I think for some of the faults that Dan Campbell has in terms of game management, maybe second half adjustments, if you want to criticize the man, sure, I get it. But when you look at the entire body of work, when you look at the coaches surrounding him, that he's empowered to do one heck of a coaching job all around. I mean, on the offense and defensive side, there's continuity, there's chemistry. You look at the locker room post-game speeches, you see a team ready to run through a brick wall for this man. So there's a little bit of CEO delegation, but when you're talking about 2024 motivation, that is today's NFL, being able to motivate the modern-day athlete. And I think Dan Campbell does as good a job as anybody. In fact, he is one of the last coaches in the NFL from the Bill Parcells tree. Sean Payton is from that tree. But when you talk about knowing which buttons to click and how to motivate different types of personalities, I think Dan Campbell's that dude, man.
I can't disagree. And, listen, he went through growing pains. Remember in his early years, there were a lot of ridiculous calls. And what the hell? You just running a fake punt from your own 30 and it didn't work. But they stockpiled draft picks. They did a great job just how to build. Like, people should sort of copy how the Lions did it. And in fact, you know who's copying how the Lions did it? Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers, right? People always want like flashy picks right away and stuff. And remember, it's like the Lions drafted offensive linemen, defensive linemen. It was all about like just sort of building the foundation, and we'll get the, we'll build the protection, and then we'll get the quarterback after, and then we'll do this after, and like then we'll get the skill positions after, as opposed to teams that are all sort of, like the New York Giants. Let's get Malik Neighbors. You got a million problems, guys. All right, we're going with a wide receiver, the luxury item, right? The sort
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42.3%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. We're kicking it with Rick Saratella. Time always flies when we talk football with Rick. So I'll get down to business. And on a weekly basis, Rick, we've been keeping people informed of the updated odds for the number one pick in the National Football League draft. And for the first month or whatever, it was Beck and it was Ewers, and both me and Rick were like, this is crazy. It's not going to be Beck. It's not going to be Ewers. It's going to be the top pick of the draft. I was saying it's going to be Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders now plus 300, guys, to be the top pick of the draft. He is the runaway favorite right now, plus 300. The second choice is Cam Ward, Miami Hurricanes, Cam Ward, plus 600. And the third choice is Travis Hunter at plus 650. Now, we'll have a lot of time to debate, the quarterbacks head-to-head and all that type of stuff, Rick. But the fact of the matter is, and you and I have been talking about this, there's a legitimate possibility that there's going to be a team with the number one pick of the draft that doesn't want a quarterback. The Patriots love Drake May. They're not taking a quarterback. The Patriots could have the number one pick of the draft. The Jags just paid Trevor Lawrence a lot of money, and I don't see any other teams wanting to eat this contract right now. So they're kind of stuck with him. They could have the second pick in the draft. Hell, the New Orleans Saints, Carr, like 50 next year and 28 the year after. They're in salary cap hell. They would have the third pick right now. Then you get into the Carolina Panthers, the Cleveland Browns. This is a pretty interesting scenario playing out right now for the draft, Rick.
Yeah, and I think the most fascinating situation, Gabe, is monitoring Shedeur Sanders, because we know Deion Sanders, his father, Primetime, is going to manage that situation. And just kind of reading the tea leaves, what's been said in the past, what's been said this week by Shedeur, an 8-figure NIL deal could keep me in Boulder. So could Primetime parlay that into a wish list, knowing that New England or Jacksonville doesn't really need a quarterback? Well, does he have a wish list? Is there only certain teams that...
Oh, there's no doubt there's going to be drama, Rick. But let me tell you one thing. There was a video that popped up yesterday of Shedeur Sanders telling his teammates that he won't be back, just for the record. Now, it wasn't like an official speech, like, I'm declaring or anything like that. But he said, like, it was point blank. And he said, man, after our last game, you weren't ever going to see me around here ever again. Right? So... he was throwing that out there, but let me throw this out there too with Shedeur. And this is a thing, and I agree with you, Rick. There's going to be baggage here. They're gonna like not want to play for certain teams. And Shedeur Sanders, every time the Raiders lose, somebody discovered that he tweets out, "The Lord is great." Like he's basically, I've never seen this. Like he wants the Raiders to lose games. And, honestly, his kid's born to be a Las Vegas Raider. So let's call it out for what it is, right?
And it's funny because I just saw Ernie Accorsi at the Burt Bell statue unveiling. And Ernie Accorsi dealt with not only the man behind me, the John Elway trade scenario with Baltimore and Denver, but also the Eli Manning situation when Eli refused to play for the Chargers. And I remember we talked about this. Deion didn't want to play for the Giants because they weren't picking inside the top 5. And the Giants could wind up with the number 1 pick. So now could Deion parlay an 8-figure NIL deal against saying, hey, you know what, Giants, if you stay at number 1, we're not coming. We'll go back for our 8-figure NIL deal. But to me, Cam Ward is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL draft, just in terms of being that Jaden Daniels ability to take you from worst to first. I think Shedeur is very good. I think they're like 1A and 1B. I prefer Cam Ward. Ironically enough, Colorado could wind up with the number 1 and number 2 overall picks because Travis Hunter, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, is the best value in this year's draft. And if I was the Jaguars or the Patriots, I would stand right there, number 1, and take Travis Hunter. So to me, that's the best player.
Yeah, I think Travis Hunter to the Patriots, let's just say hypothetically it is the Patriots. You already have the quarterback. You're getting a DB and a wide receiver with one pick, Rick. Like, why? Like, isn't it a no-brainer almost? It's like, even if you're going to get offered trades, you'd be like, yeah, but we're still not going to have Travis Hunter after this then, right? Unless it's like the second pick or you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If they know for sure, okay, but they can't risk that because, like you said, Jacksonville could come in. Jacksonville stuck with Trevor Lawrence, right? And then we talk about the Saints situation. I think they'll probably just say, screw it. We got to, unless someone eats Carr's contract, we'll roll out Spencer Rattler. Carr will get hurt and we'll play. I don't know. The Saints are a mess, bro. They got serious cap issues. You got to believe the Panthers are moving on from Bryce Young, right? Yes. So, they're 4th right now, technically, right? So, but I do think there'll be drama with Shedeur, but I do agree with you on this sense, too. What I've been saying, I like Shedeur a lot, but I think teams will end up going with, I think Cam Ward is a good bet at 6-1 to be the top pick, along with Travis Hunter.
I think it's a great pick, and I think, as we get closer to the draft, we'll continue to see these odds fluctuate, but we shall see.
Oh, we got a lot of time. Yeah. We still have a lot of time for the draft. So I always got to remember, I'm like, man, I got to bet this. I got to put this much on. I'm like, dude, you're not going to get paid for this until like the last weekend of like April. You got to remember this. So I just got to remember that. All right, so we only got about a minute here, actually, unfortunately, Rick. So CFL playoffs, man, the Argos exploded last week. Hung 58 on Ottawa. We have a great game in Montreal coming up. Toronto at Montreal. The game's a near pick 'em. Montreal are 2-point favorites. And The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Rick, the staple of the West, bro. 6 straight Western Finals for the Bombers hosting the Riders. Who you got this weekend?
I feel confident in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I do think they will prevail, and I like what Toronto is doing right now. I think they're clicking at the right time. It's going to be a hell of a matchup there in Montreal, but give me Toronto and Winnipeg in the Grey Cup out there in your backyard, baby.
And, of course, Rick was a scout with the Edmonton Elks this year. There's a new president. There's some enthusiasm. The season ended strong in Edmonton, so hopefully the positive vibes continue into next season. You had a Grey Cup. The Grey Cup is coming up next week. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday in Vancouver. But unfortunately, last year at the Grey Cup, they had Green Day playing halftime. This year, it's the Jonas Brothers. So I guess that's the time, Rick, I'm going to step out and reload my drinks. Right? Well, the Jonas Brothers are rocking. Rick Saratella, follow him on Twitter.
That might have been what led to Randy Ambrose's resignation.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. Thanks to Rick Saratella for joining us. So it's a pretty tense night tonight. America is on edge, waiting for the decision, and we have the decision. We have the results are in right now. The Miami, Ohio won 27-21 against Ball State.
Ball State covers.
There's the results that everybody needed, Cam. That's, you know what, you need other results. Go tune into another show right now. 27-21 final score. But I'll tell you what, Cam, the total was exactly 48 in this game. So the total was exactly 48, and I'll often buy a point or something, knowing or half a point, like, you know what, I want to move it a little bit here. I didn't hear it was a clean 48, so I get the push with the total, but I win with Ball State plus 12 in the game. And, of course, Central Michigan were the first ones up here tonight against Bowling Green. And Central Michigan get the cover, 23-13. Game stays under the number, but they get the cover. Bowling Green wins 23-13, 10-point win. Central Michigan covers the number. So both dogs cover tonight in the MACtion. As far as college basketball is concerned, I don't middle games often, guys. I always talk about it. Like, the other night we didn't do it with the Chief game even. I did it tonight just because the number was so big. I laid 40 with Sacramento State against California Maritime, the Torturers. And I saw the point spread up to 61.5. It was 62.5, but when I clicked it, they gave it to me at 61.5. I was like, man, they're not up by that much. Right, it's 73-26 right now, so they're up by 47. So we're comfortably covering.
What's your live
it's
line?
54.5 right now.
Yeah, it's weird because mine's always a little bit under. I got 52.5. I don't understand why it's always a basket under. 131.5 your total.
Yeah, 131.5, but it's 73-28 right now, and so they're pulling away a little bit as far as the 40 is concerned. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get to 62, and I don't think they're going to even care about getting to 62. Like, they are drilling them right now. So I'm looking to middle this one, although I'm going to lose the over. I bet over 143 in this game. The in-game total is 131.5. Not only are UC Davis hanging, UC Davis have taken a lead. UC Davis getting 15.5, and we took them in-game plus 18.5. They're winning 45-43 at Washington right now. Huskies are currently minus 5.5, 290 on the money line. And here's an upset in the making in which I laid 20 with the Dons. Dude, they're losing as well. They're losing as 20-point favorites, 57-56 right now to Cal Poly Slow. We're also on the over the game, so we're looking for the split here at least, over 153, and it's 159.5 right now in game. The Dons are currently minus 220 on the money line. I don't think they're going to lose this game. They're going to come back and win. UC Davis is the other one that's a little shakier, though. I was going to say, San Francisco, Washington, money line parlay right now is plus 103, but I wouldn't be surprised if UC Davis actually beat the Washington Huskies. They've got, returning players. They're not bad, this team. They're a competitive team. That conference is better than people give it credit for as well. NHL hockey, Cam, the Canucks are now up 3-1 on the Ducks after spotting them a goal. We jumped in on the Canucks when they were minus 120, down 1-0. I'm already on them, minus 1.5 plus 100. Canucks are now minus 1,800 on the money line, Cam.
Craziness. I still think the Canucks are going to win by multiple goals, Gabe. And also with McInnes, we took the over 5.5. So we got 4 goals right now. The live is 6.5 with juice to the 60 cents to the over. And I got this under live Columbus 5.5, Gabe. It's down to 4.5, still scoreless going into the second period, Jackets and Sharks.
Yeah, the game that was $5 to get into in San Jose tonight is living up to the hype. Scoreless after the first period of play.
No entertainment.
In-game total is now 4.5. So the college football playoff rankings came out tonight. We don't want to look too ahead into the future here. It's cool to see the bracket and stuff. And, hey, Notre Dame at Penn State would be a pretty crazy playoff game. But with that being stated, the first rankings are never the last rankings. And a lot of football left to be played. But I thought it'd be cool. We'll take a look at the college football futures on the other side. Loud Esmond's going to step up, and then we'll talk some college football, NFL football. We'll see what he's got up his sleeve. He's actually in Washington. We'll see what he thinks about the Washington Husky game against UC Davis. And now that the college football playoff rankings are out, for the record, Ohio State are the favorites to win, plus 320. Georgia, plus 350. The Ducks, plus 425.
fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42.3%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Cal Poly slow, up 62-56 right now on the San Francisco Dons. Big time upset in the making. San Francisco were 20.5-point favorites in this game. I laid the points too, but I'm also on the over, so we could get the split. I got over 153. In-game totals 156.5, 62-56 left. 8.5 minutes left, and whenever you're talking about totals in these games, fouls are always the big key. And there's been a ton of fouls here, so teams are going to be shooting free throws in this basketball game, so we should be able to get there. We'll see if the Dons can come back. San Francisco are now plus 100. And we hooked up with Loud Asman a couple of weeks ago in Seattle. I guess it was last week. Time flies. The Buffalo Bills at the Seattle Seahawks game, and we saw him over at the sports book after. Except I did not know this. We just learned this tonight about our boy Loud Asman. He actually went to UC Davis, and they're in action tonight in the state of Washington against the Washington Huskies. How you doing tonight, Loud?
I'm doing great. I'm undergrad at St. Mary's, the Gales, but I got my master's degree at UC Davis.
Nice.
All right. So, yeah, we jumped in. I got a master's degree on money tonight on UC Davis, taking them plus the points. So tonight I'm a student.
Yeah,
tonight, I'm a UC Davis Aggie tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to make more money on that bet than I ever made because I have a master's degree from UC Davis.
Cold world, Loud Asman, well done. Well played. So, yeah, 48-46. You see, the thing is, they got this kid, Ty Johnson, he's a big-time talent, this player. Like, it could be in the NBA type of deal. I know there's a lot of college kids that are good, and they're not NBA talent, but this kid's good. And he's single-handedly keeping them in this basketball game. He's a fun player to watch play, so it was kind of a unique situation tonight. Washington have a new coach. They got 3-4 new players. They got a bunch of really tall dudes and stuff, athletic dudes, but they're not great shooters. They'll probably grind out the win here, but I thought the point spread was too high. They're still laying 3.5, even though they're down a 2 spot right now. And the Dons have already cut the lead to 1 here, so they just went from plus 100 to minus 230. Loud, I brought up, I know you like to bet the midweek college football games. I don't know if you touch the MAC games tonight, but both dogs cover, and we get a push with one total, and one of them goes under tonight. So welcome back, MAC football.
Yeah, I had the under in that game that went under, and I didn't have any action on the other game. But, I've taken it upon myself to sort of break down all these midweek games, and we've got Wednesday night MACtion coming back. Ohio Bobcats at Kent State Golden Flashes. The Flashes, not doing very well. They
rarely do.
Lost to Western.
Yeah, they really do.
No, they're pretty bad all the time, but they're particularly bad this year. They lost to Western Michigan 52-21 in their last time out. Prior to that, they lost to Bowling Green, Ball State, Eastern Michigan. They only score about 20 points a game, but their defense is actually the weakness of the team. They're allowing almost 47 points per game. Also, Kent State has seen a ton of injuries, notably at the quarterback position. They're going to be without their first and second string quarterbacks who both suffered season-ending injuries. The QB playing is third string Tommy Ulatowski, whose completion percentage in the games that he has played this year, I think this will be his third start, is 42%. So he's not exactly lighting things up. Ohio, however, has won 3 of their last 4 games. They hung 47 on Buffalo last week. And you know what? I am just going to take the over on this game because, scoring 47 on Buffalo, they might score 52, 53 themselves. And that number is 52.5. If we can get 10, 14 points out of the Golden Flashes, I think this game probably very comfortably goes over.
52.5. Any thoughts on the Northern Illinois game and Western Michigan? Northern Illinois had that, massive upset win against Notre Dame, but when they got back into conference play, they started losing games after. So they're sort of been hit or miss. But as far as quality is concerned, this is the best game out of the 4, the TV games, right? I mean, both these teams are sort of quality MAC programs. Northern Illinois, 1.5-point road favorites over Western Michigan on the road. 52 loud is the total here. Same total pretty much.
Yeah, like you said, the Huskies started out, they looked very good. They got the signature win over Notre Dame, which I'm a Notre Dame fan. I watched that whole game, and it really was mostly bad Notre Dame. The offense just wasn't clicking. The quarterback couldn't find receivers. He obviously wasn't comfortable with the offensive system yet and was struggling in that game. And Notre Dame just couldn't score. It wasn't like Northern Illinois did anything fantastic. They just weren't very good. So after those wins starting the season over Western Illinois and Notre Dame, things have fallen apart for them. Losses to Buffalo, North Carolina. Then they win a couple, UMass, Bowling Green, and then they fall 2 games, Toledo and Ball State. Now, over on the Western Michigan side, they lost 3 of their first 4 games, but they were playing really much better competition. Wisconsin, Ohio State, Marshall, and then they beat lowly Bethune-Cookman. But then they went on a run, beating Ball State, Akron, Buffalo, and, well, we already talked about how bad the Kent State Golden Flashes are, so we're not going to give them much credit for that game. But interestingly, Northern Illinois has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 4 games as a favorite. And in each of Western Michigan's last 5 November games as an underdog against non-AP ranked teams, those games have gone under. Northern Illinois likes to keep the ball, take the air out of the ball, to use a basketball parlance, and they hold on to the ball a lot, 33 minutes per game. They're 8th in time of possession. But they're only scoring 19 points per game, but their defense is really good, and they only allow 18. So the pick here for me in this game is under the number of 52.5 because NIU just doesn't score. They slow the game down, and they've got a really good defense.
Loud Esmond kicking it with us. Thursday Night Football, we actually have a good NFL game this week on Thursday Night Football with the Bengals and the Ravens. We'll hit a little NFL on the other side. But App State and Coastal Carolina are on Thursday. FAU and East Carolina. Friday slate is a little bit more interesting. Cal at Wake Forest, Iowa, UCLA, Rice, Memphis, New Mexico, San Diego State. And I'll tell you what, the Iowa-UCLA game is intriguing. UCLA are a scrappy team. They're 3-5. They've had a very, very difficult schedule. And, people, they're going to be terrible and they suck. Well, they're 3-5, but they're 5-3 against the spread, right? They're in football games, and a crazy stat that people wouldn't really realize. They think, Iowa are such an under team. 8-1 to the over, Loud and Cam. 8-1 to the over, right. The Iowa Hawkeyes this year. They've been an over machine, and I tell you what, UCLA haven't won a home game yet. They're actually 3-2. All of their wins are on the road. You got a Friday night game at the Rose Bowl. UCLA feel pretty good about themselves right now. They're coming off of wins at Rutgers and at Nebraska. I think they go home loud. I like UCLA plus the 5.5, and I'm going to play into the total here, dude. It's 44.5, and with an Iowa team, it's 8-1 to the over. I'm going with the UCLA Bruins plus 5.5, and I'm going over to 44.5 in that game.
One of my longtime employees is a big UCLA fan, and he was just he's lamenting to me how bad UCLA was earlier in the year. Now, of course, he's on the top of the world recently. I'm with you in terms of not necessarily the points with UCLA, but definitely on the over. People and the books just haven't caught up yet with the fact that Iowa has an offense. So I think that's a very good call there.
Yeah, they do. Like I said, they do have an offense, and the odds makers, the totals used to be 35.5 and 37.5, etc., but still manageable numbers in Iowa Hawkeye games.
Fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Sirius XM, Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. So I don't want to put too much into these college football rankings. As I stated, like the first rankings are never the last rankings. Most of these teams, a lot of these teams are going to end up playing each other again or whatever. There's going to be there's still a shuffle to come here along the way. But nevertheless, it's interesting to see what the committee came up with and to see the correlated updated odds right now for this. So the Ducks are the 1 seed, Georgia the 2 seed, Miami the 3 seed, and BYU would be the 4 seed. BYU are interesting to keep your eye on, guys. They're really good and are undefeated. They're super impressive, this team. But the Colorado Buffaloes are lurking. All right? The Buffaloes have a legitimate chance, to get to the Big 12 championship game, and they would make the playoff, point blank. You win a Big 12, you're in the playoffs. And, and all you need to know, people would think, no way the Buffaloes are in the mix here. Well, the Buffaloes are ranked 20th, all right? So, You only have to be in the top 12. They're ranked 20th. So there's hope for Dion and company. Very fascinating to see, but some of these games would be super cool, like just to see them, all right, first-round playoff matches on campus, we should note. So they're on the road. Boise State at Ohio State. Indiana at Tennessee. The Indiana Hoosiers would be in the playoffs if it started this weekend. Alabama at Texas in a playoff game. And Loud, you talked about being a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. As of right now, Notre Dame are in the 10 spot, and their schedule is super manageable. So they're going to get in. Notre Dame are going to get in, and they would go on the road because they'd have a lower seed than everybody. As it is now, Loud, Notre Dame at Penn State in a potential playoff game with the winner playing the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, I give Notre Dame a really good chance of winning that game because the Penn State seems to never be able to win the big one. And so, give Notre Dame.
I thought the same thing. I'm thinking, you know what? I think Notre Dame could go in there and win. But you know what? Marcus Freeman has never won the big one either. So it goes both ways.
No, agreed. But, the interesting thing to me looking at all of this is those first round buys. Those teams are being so protected by the committee. They still want, 4 marquee teams in that thing. And when it gets there, I think we're going to see a lot of people, a lot of teams get beat, and those top 4 move on. They get that extra week of rest. They get extra time to prep. The other team has to go on and play. I just think it's going to be really difficult.
Well, you're right. It's a dream TV, and it's all about TV. College football is always about TV. Right. It's always been that way when it comes to like the BCS, the college. Like it comes into play, all right. How big of a brand? But you're bang on if you think about it. If you had Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and the Miami Hurricanes. And you got BYU lingering, but don't think for a second the network isn't praying that Colorado could get in there. You imagine if you had the Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes against the Miami Hurricanes in a freaking playoff game? What I'm saying? Yeah. Like there's a lot of crazy scenarios that could happen here and play out. Boise State are in, though, as of right now. They're controlling their own destiny. So, if Boise State just win out here, they will definitely be in the playoffs, but they're going to have to go on the road, so it won't be easy. I don't know if there's anything else. I brought up the UCLA game. I really haven't started to cap college football on Saturday yet. We were caught up Monday Night Football, college basketball tonight. Everything else is going on. Anything else college football you want to hit loud before we move on to the NFL?
Yeah, just a couple of quick other things. Thursday night, FAU, ECU Pirates, FAU Owls. Interesting contrast here. East Carolina is very good at home. The Owls struggle on the road. They've dropped 4 straight road games. ECU is good on offense and bad on defense. They score almost 30 a game. They give up around 30 a game. FAU scores less at only 21 points per game, but they give up even more at 33. So we have a trend here, which is teams that can score some, but can't stop anybody else from scoring. Now, that's why I'm sort of wanted to go to the over. But the other thing in this game is FAU is really one-dimensional on offense. They don't throw the ball well, so that's going to allow ECU to just stack the box against the run, which is the one thing that they do well. And though East Carolina isn't particularly good against the run, with no threat of the pass, they're going to bring the safeties down. There's going to be 8 or 9 guys in the box. And I just think ECU, with the better offense, eventually pulls away and covers this 7.5. And then the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, they're averaging 30.9 points per game. They're taking on App State in what now is a pick 'em. App State scores about 27 points a game. But again, this is a trend here. Both teams allow even more points on defense, 32 and 34 respectively. So if they each give up as many points as they normally do, this number goes to 66 between the two of them. So I'm leaning to the over here of 61.5. But watch the weather. It may be raining heavily where this game is being played in Coastal Carolina. And if it is, you might want to hold off on that over bet.
Loud has been kicking with us. Loud, Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. We only got a couple of minutes with you here, about a minute and a half left. Ravens and Bengals Thursday, spread is 653, a pretty high total right now. That's the Thursday night game. Steelers Commanders is a cool one this week. We got a couple of interesting games. Anything catch your eye in the NFL this week?
Yeah, it's interesting. The Baltimore averages 28 points per game, Cincinnati 21. This opened at 47.5 as the over-under number and has shot to 53. Now, I've looked this up, and Thursday night football games score about the same average as every other game in the NFL. About 46 points is the average per game. No real weather to worry about here. Both teams play to the over. The public bettors know this. They also know the last time these two teams played, it went way over. That game was 41-38 for a final total of 79 points. And prisoner of the moment, the Bengals just hung 41 on the Raiders, and the Ravens hung 41 on the Broncos last Sunday. So everybody in the world is on the over in this game. That's why I'm going to take the under.
Loud Esmond, where can people find you, Loud?
WinnersandWiners.com and steer the line.
Loud Esmond in the house.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump, his release. It's really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. I got to tell you, everybody, Twitter is quite the experience right now, and has nothing to do with the Maction or the NFL trade deadline or anything else. I'm sort of tuned out. For me, it was just all about a bunch of wagers and stuff like that. So I'm sort of like, I wish there was more college basketball games going on right now because we did so well. I can't believe that Cal Maritime and Sacramento State went over the number because California Maritime weren't scoring enough for it to happen, but Sacramento State just didn't stop scoring. And they ended up going over the number because of Sacramento State. They easily covered the 40.5. They won by 62, and the game goes over the number. Cal Poly were getting 20.5 against San Francisco. They were up The Dons have come back. It's 82-76 right now. The game went over to 4 for both of them to come back. I think Washington will probably end up winning this game, but it's only a 1-point game with 5 minutes left.
You said it, but they've always been within 1 position.
Look, they're at 4 right now. My guess is they probably, my prediction before the game, if you remember, I said I think Vancouver are going to win 4-2. It's 3-1 right now. Anaheim will pull a goalie if they're down in this range. You got to believe there's going to be another 2 goals here. I don't know if they get to 7, though. I didn't bet the total, but I'm not sure they get to 7 here, Cam. I think the Canucks are going to tighten up here in the third period. I'm not sure the Ducks score. You know what I mean? Maybe they do, but I think they'll end up pulling their goalie too. But for bettors out there right now, I haven't pulled the trigger. You know, I always tell you if I'm going to bet it. I haven't bet it, but I'm thinking about it here. Under 6.5 is minus 140 right now. And in Columbus and San Jose, Cam, we're still waiting for the first goal of the game. 6 minutes left in the second period.
Yeah,
all I need is Celebrini to get a point.
Yeah, well, that's 0-0. You need somebody to score. Damn, they're paying $2 and getting no goals. I like Vancouver, Gabe. If it stays 3-1, maybe Anaheim will pull with like 4 or 5 minutes left down a couple goals. And the minus 2.5 is 50 cents, but I lean that way. I think Vancouver might win this game like 4-1, but I still think they can win by 3 goals.
Yeah, I've got a minus 2.5 is minus 150 right now. This one could work out. We read it pretty good, like in the sense that we were on the Vancouver Canucks minus a goal and a half at plus 100 before they dropped the puck. Anaheim scored right away, but we didn't get scared off by it. We said, all right, we'll jump in on Vancouver minus 120 money line. And as it is now, it's working out for us. They're up 3-1. So we got more college football tomorrow, and then we'll get into the NFL. NFL trade deadline went down. It's a crazy time of the year. The World Series is done, but now the college football playoff talk gets real. And now that we're into November, these NFL games really start to count a little bit more. College basketball is back. We got another sport in the rotation, and it's really cool to have it back. I love this late-night West Coast stuff. In fact, we gave you 5 picks tonight for college basketball. We posted them, and we go 4-1. And I went 2-0, Cam. I took New Orleans plus the points against K-State. Oh, yeah, and I took New Orleans, K-State over the number, and I won them both. So a nice. Robust 6-1 college basketball tonight.
Very impressive. Yeah, and so far on the ice, things have been good. Let's end it strong with the Vancouver Canucks when they're down a goal. So, yeah, a nice, beautiful night on both the hardwood and the ice so far, Morency. Beautiful stuff.
So tune in tomorrow. I'll be on the Pharrell Show. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a bunch of picks for all the action. Tomorrow night, we'll keep it rolling. Now that college basketball is back, great stuff. The Wicked Wednesday is always a great show. And for the record, there's a full slate of college basketball tomorrow. Not a bunch of big-time teams, but there's a bunch of games. My Vermont Catamounts are at Auburn. Vermont at Auburn after Vermont gets it done at UAB. Can they keep it rolling in the state of Alabama? Other than that, you're on your own. Later.